Oh my goodness. Are we going to start?
I don't know. Are we?
I'm day drunk.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we are, and welcome to a very special Western edition of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. You may hear some ambient noise on this episode because we are merely 10 feet away from cactuses. Cacti? Cactuses?
Cacti
don't make...
Cactuseem?
Cacti?
That's Hebrew.
Cacti, Shy? Cacti don't make noises.
No, they're...
But we're probably about 100 feet from horses, and they make noises.
Well, we're 5 feet from our family, so that's the worst of
They make
offenders.
the most noise.
And
so we
I'm a
are...
little worried for my marriage after only 2 days of this vacation, I will be honest.
I'm a little worried for our deposit because I'm sure they're going to kick us out. Now, I will say we thought for the first couple of days, we definitely thought we were...
This is day 2, so...
Yeah, for the first day, we
Feels
thought
like forever.
we were the only Jews here. But then we definitely met some Jews at the pool.
Oh,
and then I
really?
realized that in addition to Chinese food on Christmas, Jews go to dude ranches on
Yeah.
Christmas.
Apparently. It's like a thing we
it's
didn't
funny.
know.
I was
But
worried
they're
that
Jews from the South. They're from Atlanta. So this is
Yeah.
what Southern Jews do, I
guess so. I was definitely
red.
worried
We're related to Southern
that
Jews.
the staff here would not know how to handle a large family of high-maintenance Jews. But I have to say, day 2, they're keeping up.
They are.
They really are
keeping
keeping
up.
up. They
Yeah.
have like curious looks on their faces. But when I went into the reception again today, she just, hi, Lily.
to get
What
the,
is it?
To get the allergenic food.
She was like, what is it now? I was like, hey, girl. But people have been super nice, like very, very lovely, hospitable, awesome cowboys.
Among the cowboy activities we've done some loping. We did a ride
Which is, explain
out.
what loping is.
It's
not
galloping,
like, it's not
but
like
without the ga.
loopering, like when
Yeah,
you're traveling in time.
galloping without
It's
the
just
gut.
loping
Just the
without the
loping.
ga.
It's
So
So
like
I
half a
think
gallop.
I think a gallop is when all 4 legs come up the ground. There's a moment where the horse has no legs on the ground. That's
Whoa.
how fast you're
It's
going.
like a slow gallop.
So we've done
Slow
some
gallop.
sloping, and we went to a pre-dawn breakfast.
Pre-dawn breakfast. It was like at 9 a.m.
So pre-dawn for Lily.
Yeah, I was saying that we horseback rode to a breakfast in the desert,
have to
which to
say-
me gives me so much cred. I don't need to describe it any more than that.
I think that
there
The
were
food was
will-
amazing.
Food
I
was
think that will
amazing.
continue to be my. I mean, we're only on day 2, but there's no way anything can beat cowboy cookout.
Yeah.
I mean, not for this family.
Now Becky described. Now we are,
Except for a fashion photo shoot montage in the shop where we all tried on hats.
which there's a flavor
No,
of
I
on
actually-
the
I
Friday Night
left.
Movie Instagram.
I couldn't. That was too much fun for me.
It's too
I
embarrassing for
needed
you?
a nap.
So Becky, now the food at the ranch has been quite special. Becky described it in a way when I got there.
Shy's
She ran.
favorite
She
food.
ran up to me and she's like, "You're gonna love this food." And how did you describe
I
it?
would say it's somewhere between camp food and airport food. But
Airport food or airplane food?
No, airport.
I
think
said
she said
airport. I meant like a nice restaurant at the airport.
No,
which is
I
somewhere
feel
between...
like it's between camp and airplane food. I'm
no,
in heaven.
I don't think it's. Yeah,
No,
but I
no,
think this food deserves a bit more credit than plastic wrap. Like,
Yeah.
this is.
But it's not like
pretty
it's
good.
not any nicer than a nice restaurant at the airport. That's about as nice as it's gonna get. But a lot of
that's
the
my kind
dishes,
of-
and that's exactly a lot of the dishes have like a natural built-in comfort food flavor pack.
Oh
to
yeah,
them.
we've had chicken legs. I love chicken legs.
and chicken tenders
And chicken tenders.
chicken sandwiches
And chicken
there was like
sandwiches.
some kind of roast beef sandwich happening.
And there and also
giant hunks of meat that they grill on an outdoor
Barbecue?
like, barbecue thing.
I mean-
and
giant
for
hunks of
dessert they had a cherry pie the first night that was quite fluffy and delicious.
cheesecake.
Cherry cheesecake. It was fluffy and delicious. Okay, so we've done that. We also did something called group penning
Yes.
competition.
A penning competition.
Where we
Where,
learned.
let me just say this.
Okay.
I was not in competition with anyone. Okay? I was there to have fun. I don't compete.
But I mean, we ran into other people from the ranch later, not the Jews, and they
Obviously not the Jews.
And they
because
came
the
up
Jews
to us and they
definitely
were-
weren't- there were no other Jews there but us.
all the Jews were at the pool today.
Yeah, and now we realize that's where the Jews go the afternoon.
and they wanted to know, but people were like, "So what was your time? How well did you do in the group penning?" So just to set this up for
I
you,
don't think they timed us.
group penning is where you go with a team of 3 riders, and in our case,
It's a total of 4 people.
It's our case. It's a total of 4 riders. So you get a Wrangler, and you get your 3 family members, and you ride down the range, and you split 2 cows off.
Yeah,
from
if you're
the
good
herd.
enough, you can just do 4 people. You don't need the Wrangler. No
so
one else
they
had
just
the
gave
Wrangler.
us the
Our
Wrangler.
family had a Wrangler per group.
So like a babysitter.
Yes,
Okay.
nobody else had that but us.
It's like when the counselor has to be on your team because you're not good enough. Yeah.
Or like when you get it when mom and dad
when the
put
coach,
you on their team.
Yeah, when the coach puts
For,
you
or
on
like
their
when
team.
I put you on my team playing video games.
Yes.
I'm like, you're on my team.
It's exactly what
Okay.
it was.
So the Wrangler, and then you have to split 3 cows off from the herd, or like in our case, they're like, look, 3 are already split off.
3 are already on their way to the pen.
And then you have to guide them into the pen.
No,
as a
wait, you're
team.
missing the best part. As you go down,
You're like going fast down the ranch to go get these.
Yeah.
No, it's like you're loping down the corral to get.
We're just using words here. The range, the corral,
You're
the
loping down.
blacksmith.
You lope down the corral where you then have to separate 3 cows from the herd.
Or in our case, they were pre-separated, but they like let us think we separated them.
Yeah.
And so, now before you're allowed to do this, though, they asked the whole group of people, has anyone passed the fast riding test? It's like a deep ender swimming test. They have a fast riding test. And of course, no one in our family had passed it, yes. And I, very excited, jumped in and said, I would like to go first. Now, how would you guys describe my
Well,
my
I
ride?
think you could describe it as there's like they invented a system for tests where it's pass or fail, and I failed. So I think that's how I would describe it. You failed.
They said before the ride, they said, anyone who takes this test passes.
And you
broke the
failed
mold.
on
As
that.
I'm riding back, Becky whispers to me across the whole corral, Shy, I think this is like the time that we did trapeze and you were the only one who didn't pass.
Which is another great story for another time.
That's true.
when-
But this
when you
time
went
I
trapezing.
passed because of, what'd you say? Lack of skill? As opposed to because I was too fat for the trapeze. Which was the time that I did the
You
trapeze.
genuinely failed just purely based on
Your lack of
no
skill.
But they still let you lope.
Well,
So-
I guess they just outweighed like the liability versus how sad you were gonna be. So they were like, just let him do it.
So we did that, and I would say we did pretty well. The family cheered us from the side, the ones who weren't in it. And then another thing we did, which I felt like is more in my kind of cowboy, man against nature kind of ways, whereby the Dude Ranch has its own little movie theater screening room. It's very cool. It has
Which
a
is, let's
projector.
be honest, the reason we agreed to this trip.
That everyone has their thing. But in order to get the movie that we were going to watch, which was on my iPhone, the Meg, on the big screen, we needed to, I would say, do some MacGyvering of their video system, and we brought in a cowboy from the ranch. Lily went and brought a cowboy in who had a pliers, and then we hooked up the television and we watched the Meg last night, which I think leads me to ask sort of our first pop culture question of the evening. Becky and I had already seen the Meg. Lily, it was your first viewing of the Meg. What did you think?
It lived up to every expectation that
And
I had.
what were your expectations?
My expectations, well, I guess I could say that I really wanted to see Jason Statham punch a shark, but he stabbed a shark very close up, and that met all my expectations. The acting was definitely just bad enough, and so
It was in the right
It was
place
in the
for
right
the
place
movie,
for
yeah.
the movie. So it
No
gives
one
you.
was reaching too high.
Yeah, no, and he makes most of the people in the movie look like they make him look like Academy Award winning. So, it definitely lived up to those expectations. And
Wait, let me pause a sec.
There's those were just
some ruffians
ruffians, regulators,
at the ranch.
Outlaws?
Outlaws, that's
outlanders.
No,
Outlaws.
And so, I would say that I don't know if it was the movie theater setting because it was like on a big screen in a movie theater, but the best part of the movie was witnessing my sister-in-law, who I guess had also never seen it, jump 10 feet in the air every time a shark came out.
Oh yeah, she
I'm
made like a hilariously
like
cute
screeching
squeal.
sound. So,
It was amazing.
so that was really fun. I think it's a good time. I think like you should just, if you're going to see that movie, take it for what it is.
It's exactly what it promises to be. And so I feel like if you want a movie that delivers on its promise.
But I also think
Meg
I was
is it.
smart to wait to watch it with like the right people in the right setting.
Yeah.
At a ranch in a movie theater.
I also think it's a film that begs you to talk through it. To give commentary.
Oh, yeah. If you're like going to be
cheer.
annoying and serious about this
You
movie,
need to enjoy it
I'm not
for
going to
what
watch
it
it.
is.
with
Yeah,
you.
there's no shark character development in this movie.
Right.
I would say that one of the reasons why I felt most comfortable watching it at this vacation is that this is a vacation where we are entirely landlocked. Like, aside from the pool where I'm a little bit upset that the Meg could be in there.
That's a good point.
I think,
was
like-
I feel like we're choosing the wrong movie for this vacation, but I guess you don't want to watch this on a beach vacation.
We're not watching this in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Definitely not Australia.
So an interesting thing about the Meg is that the Meg on Rotten Tomatoes rests at a 46% from the critics.
I feel like that's accurate.
And I think that maybe it's accurate, maybe it isn't. But I think that we've had,
No, it is. I just said
It's
it.
accurate. Fine, it is accurate. We've had a bit of a war on Rotten Tomatoes, as everyone does, right? It's not like it's the website's fault, right? It's all the critics. I would say it's more of a war on critics rather than Rotten Tomatoes. So a war on Rotten Tomatoes scores. And what we've decided to be the theme of this week's episode, I don't know week at this point, we're really fudging the time. This could be today, this could be tomorrow, it could be 2 weeks from now, is I challenged my sisters to look on Rotten Tomatoes and find movies that were 45% or under. So they had to be rated by critics worse than The Meg, and make the case for why those movies are actually among your favorite, like, awesome movies that you love. So we're going to do maybe a little bit of a round robin, or do you guys want to go list by list?
That was a horse. Just galloping
No,
by.
that was an extraordinarily tall human just right by us.
Well,
Who beat Dad in basketball yesterday.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Dad.
He
Tried so hard,
he
though.
He let her win.
Dad and I played.
let her
I will
win.
say,
He
Dad
let her
and I played basketball today. Played a game of horse, and Dad crushed me.
Well, that I could see.
It's so funny when Dad told me that story. He was like, Sean and I play basketball. And I was like, really? He's like, I beat him something. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, he did really well. I was like, what kind of game was this? And he's like, like I do a shot, he has to copy it. And he does a shot, I have to copy it. I was like, oh, wow, Dad. It did not occur to me that was horse.
So,
Are we? How deep into our explanations are we going?
I mean, just don't take too long. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think
Okay.
it's important to set parameters for Lily.
No, I don't have a lot
That's
to
why
say.
Becky, you go
asking.
first with one of yours. We knew you took the longest
gonna
to make the list, but somehow I feel like you'll be the shortest in your
Well,
explanation.
you have my list.
I have
I
yours.
think round robin
So okay. Well, the first one.
Oh, and by the way, whoever has the lowest scored
Wins.
movie wins. And
I
we
think it's me.
we all know the scores.
it's definitely me.
I thought it was going to be me,
Oh,
but then
well-
I think made the mistake of
maybe
telling
yours.
you
Yeah, no,
mine.
Lily's wins. Okay, so my first,
Well, we can also look at our aggregate
What
lowest score.
immediately came to mind when Shai proposed this game was the new Baywatch with The Rock and Zac Efron. If you listen to some of our older episodes, I have mentioned this quite often. It only has 17% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Which is
and I'm
insane.
not-
It's insane.
Like, thank you. For
the
the
game
life
is
of me-
rigged.
For the
Give
life
me a
of
break.
me, I cannot figure it out because first of all, standalone on its own, it has everything. It's delightful. It's funny. It has action. It has such great buddy cop kind of stuff going on. It has,
that like 80s style
Yeah.
raunchy humor, but with a current era edge
Has
to
some
it, so
heart.
it's sort of
Yes.
like
and
not
it has,
so
and
racy.
I feel like it has such a great buddy story in it. That really shows them like coming together and becoming a team. And oh wait, I've lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Baywatch, you love it. You
Yeah,
watch
but
it on planes.
I love it. I
Bring
love
with
it. I
you
watch
wherever
on
you go.
planes, and I recommend it to people all the time. I feel like it definitely has a bad rap here with only 17%.
Agree.
Yeah,
agreed.
All right, Lily. Buy, for sure.
Oh yeah, I would buy that.
Every one of these movies has to be a buy if you put it on.
Oh, then I should definitely take one of mine off because I don't think I would buy that.
Well, you put it on.
All
there, you're
right,
buying
me,
it.
Hook.
Damn it.
Hook.
Yeah, that's a crime. I feel like that's like
Yeah.
maybe
Those are
it's
the
like
better ones.
inflation or something. Or are you looking at the right website?
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
a
I'm looking
Spanish
at Rotten
one.
Tomatoes.
It's the Spanish Rotten
Tomates
Tomatoes.
maduros.
Is
I-
yours
I'm-
the right Hook?
I think, I think so. How many
Okay,
hooks are
so,
there?
So make the case for Hook.
It's amazing. End of story. I'm done.
You're totally right.
I mean,
Like,
The
it's,
Hook, it's the tale.
child
great for
fantasy
kids.
enjoyment.
It's, Robin Williams is fantastic. It
Stars Rufio.
It stars Rufio. And not only that, I feel like I don't think there's any CGI in that movie or like whatever. Maybe a little bit of.
It's a Spielberg
it's
movie.
like and it's like old school special effects and the scene when they imagine
the food fight.
And they have the
Imagining the food
food
alone
the
brings
food
that
fight.
up to 80%.
for sure. It's just I feel like it's a really special movie.
Maybe the whole Tinkerbell and
Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell.
No, Tinkerbell
No.
and Robin and Peter. You know,
Her being in love with him?
But that's a resolution of a long-going
Yeah,
story.
I mean, you don't know what goes on with fairies. It's unrequited love. And it's Gwyneth's first movie. So that's a bye and does not deserve. How many percent did I say it got? 28%.
it doesn't make any sense. That seems
Bullshit.
weird.
I feel like, that's. I'm still wondering if Lily looked at the right
Double
website.
check right now.
Okay, so mine, I'm gonna go with. So I realize my list has higher rated movies than you guys, but I'm gonna go with Nacho.
You did a clear right at a 42%.
Well, I went by my memories of movies that I thought critics didn't like, but I loved, and to me, because I just rewatched it with the kids, Nacho Libre, absolutely.
I've never seen it.
It is so odd. It's Mike White who wrote it, and I believe
so
it's
weird.
I told
believe
Shai.
it's Jared
Shai's like,
Hess.
what? He's done School of Rock. I'm like, he's done some strange movies. He's got a dark past.
And it's directed by Jared Hess, I believe, who did, maybe you guys could check, Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite. I think it was the first movie he did after that. And it has that weird Napoleon Dynamite style of humor where everything's just a little bit off base, and there's just Jack Black clearly improving and just creating this totally wacky character. And it has one of my favorite Peter Stormare cameos ever, where he plays this water wizard character that they travel with to go drink eagle eggs. And anyways, Nacho Libre is a must watch. It's definitely a buy. I own it in various formats. All right, Becky, give us another one.
Number 2 on my list, it's rare to like a sequel, I think, better than an original, but I'm going to go out and say it. I enjoyed the sequel to Bad Moms. That would be Bad Moms Christmas. Far better than I like the original. And I think what's so great about it is that they already have the rapport, the characters, right? And then the introductions of their mothers into the scene, I think just ups the ante as far as the comedy that you have going on there, especially what's her name?
K-Bell?
Christine Baranski?
Yeah, Kristen
Anything she's in.
She's phenomenal. One of the funniest things, I think the scene where she and Mila Kunis are literally physically battling it out over the Christmas decorations, I peed my pants a little, that kind of situations, but I don't hear a lot of concurring here on
I would
Bad
not
Moms.
buy
I
that
do
movie.
not like that
I-
movie.
no.
I own it, but I do not
Bad
like
Moms
it.
Christmas?
I liked it. I wouldn't buy it. It was fun to see
definitely
once.
liked it better than the first.
Really?
Oh, I liked it way better than the first.
I mean, I
think
do
your
love
argument-
what's her name. His name's Eyebrows. I like when Peter Gallagher comes in a movie and I get to see his.
got a
big
great
It
eye.
has a lot of
but
things
no.
I love, but it's not a movie that I felt I could sit through. Look, it's got
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Bell, it's got Mila Kunis, it's got Peter Gallagher's eyebrows,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hahn.
it's got
Kathryn
Kathryn
Hahn.
Hahn, and it's got Christine Baranski. It's got all things that I
I
truly,
just think the
truly
story.
love.
I think the writing could have been tighter. And Susan Sarandon.
Oh my god, yeah. So everything, there's a lot of ingredients, whereas I'm more of a Daddy's Home 2 kind of guy.
Ugh.
Okay, wait.
And I
A lot of
couldn't- I
John
didn't even
Cena in
make
that
it
one.
Basically the same thing. So
Lily, take it away. What's your next one?
my next one is Tommy Boy. That's one of my all-time favorite
So I'm going
comedies.
to challenge you once again. You have picked two movies that are classic.
No, but Tommy Boy's 42%, so it's just skating under our limit.
But also,
I think
where-
that should be 95%
What
at
were
least.
critics thinking when they slammed Tommy Boy? That
It's
movie was
genius.
hilarious.
Becky?
It was.
Tommy
I mean,
Boy?
no. I mean, it's. There's so many quotable moments.
Lily used to
Fat
quote that.
guy and a
And
little
then, I
coat.
think you have a thick
thick
candy shell.
I think your brain has a thick,
Thick candy shell.
Or your head has a thick candy shell. There's
Amazing.
so many quotes.
Okay. So, all right. So, my next one is going to be. It's another one that had 40%, but I think a lot of people hate this
I
movie.
literally can't find a movie that has
That was a cow growling
I
in the
think it's
background.
a dinosaur.
A dinosaur cow. And the next one that I'm going to pick is a movie that got a good rating, but also I think is very much maligned by people. I think I'm the only person who loves it, but I love it. I love this movie. I own it in multiple formats. I've seen it many, many times. And it is Speed Racer. It was the movie that the Wachowski brothers made after The Matrix. It has incredible special effects, and It is. It's got Emile Hirsch. It's got.
Was it good? Because I haven't seen it.
Terrific.
How does it compare to Ready Player One?
No, it's much better than Ready Player One. Yeah. Because, okay, so there's a theme in the movies that I'm picking here, I just realized. There's a theme in the movie that I'm picking here, is that these are movies that you're watching and you're like, what were they thinking when they made this? Who did they think this was going to appeal to? Because they're just like a little bit odd. Like they all have odd senses of humor. Like Speed Racer is ostensibly a serious movie that makes all this racing stuff sound super serious, but it's actually quite like
Does it take place
weird.
in the future?
Ish. Like it's really hard to tell. But I would say Speed Racer is a really worthy. It's really, really long. It's almost entirely done with CGI, but on purpose. The racing scenes are a lot of fun. The way the Wachowskis approached it is they said that it would be... the Wachowskis said that they wanted to do like kung fu with cars, so they called it car fu.
Oh, God.
I don't think that's a thing.
Well, no, but they could do it at the time. Anyways, it totally bombed.
They don't have a good track record.
It's very stylized.
Besides Matrix.
The first one.
It's very stylized.
And Sense8. That's it.
The first season.
It's got... Okay, anyways. So that's my case for Speed Racer. Stylized, weird, has
So
an
far,
off-center
I'm
system.
winning.
I think it's a strange movie. All right, Becky, hit us with another one.
Was number 3 on my list was childhood classic. If you haven't seen it, drop what you're doing. I highly recommend watching it.
Something tells me Alana Austin is watching this movie right now.
It was on rotation in our house. It was a regular film to watch, especially when we were homesick. So if you're not feeling well, it's winter time, maybe you have a little cold and you're staying home. Who's Harry Crumb, starring the genius John Candy, who plays, a plethora of roles. It's starring John Candy, but as 25 different people.
Well, no, his
amazing.
character dresses up as other people.
Yes, no, I know. That's the fun. So who's Harry Crumb? Harry Crumb is a private detective, and he's hired to find the kidnapped daughter of a millionaire, except...
Wow, you remember this plot.
Except he's hired because he's really a terrible detective, but he's also kind of a mad genius. And one of his brilliant tricks is that he dresses up in disguise. So, for example, he dresses up as like an esthetician, remember? And he does that.
He's like a masseuse. I think he's supposed to be Israeli.
He's supposed to be like it is one of the most amazing scenes ever. And
he plays tic-tac-toe in the mud on the woman.
And the bad guy is the one from Ferris
Bueller.
Bueller.
Jones.
Yes. And anyway.
Who was in prison for terrible
things.
Oh, he
so
is?
we won't mention him.
We're not going to mention his stuff, but he's in prison for terrible things.
Oh, I didn't know.
He has a real-life villain.
Yeah, he is a real-life villain, which is really sad because he's a talented guy, but blech.
And his movies that he's tarnished movies, sadly, with his reputation.
How did I not know that?
His crimes.
They're terrible.
Moving on.
Google them.
Ugh, well, sorry. But anyways, I guess if you can watch that and maybe like blur out his face, he's not in it that much. John Candy's incredible.
It is a typical Jeffrey Jones role, though, where he's like the villain
Like a
that's
weaselly
constantly
villain.
weaselly villain that's constantly being abused.
Yeah.
All right. My next one. Is it? No, it's Lily's turn.
My next.
Oh, and that one has a 27%.
Yeah.
It's almost as much as Hook, which I just still don't think is accurate.
People were like, "Wow, it's only slightly better than Harry Crumb."
Right. And then rolling in at a 15%, which I'm not saying it needs to get even 40. Well, it should get 50. I would give this movie 50. I don't think it should get 45, but they gave it 15 as Encino Man.
Oh, what a classic.
Brendan Fraser.
I love
Pauly Shore. Come on.
Some early Brendan Fraser is one of my
90s?
favorite eras.
Oh, yeah. Brendan Fraser. I love Airheads and School
Yes,
Ties.
Airheads is
And I feel like
great.
Pauly Shore is just, he was awesome in the
That's
90s.
that's when he was great.
So
that was peak Pauly Shore.
I just feel like I'm not saying it need. I mean, I would buy it. I'm not saying you need to, but I think 15% is way harsh.
I would watch it right now.
I remember in the old days of when the movie channels, when you had movie channels, but we didn't get them in our house.
Of course not.
The Canadian ones, but you could watch the channel that had the commercials for the movie channels like all day when you were homesick. I would watch, and the Encino Man commercial would come up all the time.
So good. I could also give you a great summary of that one, but let's move on.
So here's a classic. I want to dedicate this to Josh Crew.
Sean Astin in it?
I was going to ask you guys if you can name
It's
the
Sean-
other
it's
guy.
Sean Astin.
Pauly Shore and.
Is it Sean? No.
Sean Astin.
I'm gonna. I was literally just about to ask you both, but then you moved on.
It's
Sorry.
Sean Astin.
What? Who's the other friend? It's Pauly Shore and.
I
Sean
have
Astin.
no idea.
Becky for the win, Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. I would never have guessed that. That's
Because I
amazing.
remember him so clearly making a plea for wanting to hate how this guy would how like the caveman would help them get prom dates somehow, and I really specifically remember that scene. Logic, I guess it's in there somewhere.
So my next one is going to dedicate to Josh Crew, and my college roommate, and we watched this. I can't tell you how many times. We had it. I want to say we had it on VHS, but then eventually we had it on DVD.
That's how old he is.
And then it stars Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott.
Oh God, that's good.
About two brave men who party so hard that they lose their car. And it is
Jennifer
called
Garner.
Jennifer Gardner
and the other one from Full House.
He is Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
Garner.
Yeah,
And
he said
then
Gardner.
I admitted
I don't remember
was
her.
doing some daydreaming before
I don't
this.
remember her name right now, but she's awesome.
The one from Full House that played the mean friend.
Yeah.
She's been on other stuff
Yeah.
like Boston Legal and stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, Dude, Where's My Car? This is a hilarious movie. Again, what they were thinking when they made this, I have no idea. But it's like a combination of like a college comedy and a sci-fi movie at the same time. And frankly, Sean William Scott and Ashton Kutcher play these hilariously dumb friends that sort of accident themselves into saving humanity. And
Marla Sokoloff.
Yeah. That's it. And it is hilarious. And I bet you if you watched it now, it's aged much better. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. But I want to rewatch it.
So, speaking of movies we have not seen in a long time, but I do remember so many scenes and lines from it. It makes me think that I did love it and might still love it. Vegas Vacation. Arguably the worst of the vacation movies, I admit. But I think it has
my favorite.
I think it has some serious charm. As Shai and I were reminiscing before.
Mr. Papagiorgio.
Mr. Papagiorgio. You know, I think it's...
All I remember is Mr. Papagiorgio, Wayne Newton trying to steal the wife, and at the end of the movie, they drive away in amazing cars. Oh, and Christy Brinkley is in it again, but she's a mom with a baby in a car seat.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
So Shai remembers more than I do, and that got a whopping, so far now, puts me in the lead, 13%.
That's true. Dude, Where's My Car was 18%, and you've immediately eclipsed me. Okay.
Oh.
Lily.
I thought when I was going to say this one, everyone would be on my side, but this got a 9%, and I feel like you both agree. I don't know if anybody else out there saw Drop Dead Fred as a kid.
That movie
that is
traumatized me.
terrifying.
I loved that movie, Becky.
Funny
We
movie with
loved
Phoebe
it.
Cates.
Phoebe
It's
Cates.
basically a horror movie about a woman whose
loved
imaginary
it.
friend is in love with her and tries to ruin her life.
I love that movie.
Is he real or not?
He's not
No,
real.
he's not real. It's a figment of her imagination. She's just
But he destroys
crazy.
her life.
Well, he's
He's like kind of
really.
real. He's kind of real.
But I was rooting for them
He
to get
is real.
together the whole movie.
'cause
That's weird. No, they're not supposed to get together. She is sort of just like this little girl's mom was so mean to her growing up, so she had this crazy imaginary friend, and then
Who might be real.
who might be real, but I don't think he is. But then when she gets older,
No, she has to take medication so she doesn't see him because it's almost like
she's
a
a mental illness. Or
yeah,
something?
like a voice in her head. So she actually takes.
We all remember very different versions.
Anyways,
of
the point is
It
that
was
when she's
terrifying.
older, her life is like this cookie cutter perfect life her mom has made for her, but she's not necessarily happy.
Oh, I don't remember that. I thought
And-
she was like getting engaged.
But the guy's not nice.
Oh wow. Okay, we
And
need to rewatch it.
Anyways, and Drop Dead Fred comes back as like her childhood imaginary friend and wreaks havoc on her life, but makes her like love life
So
again.
basically, this movie is like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like she has an imaginary
probably,
friend
like,
that's really
pretty-
her that destroys her life.
but
Yeah,
also
like,
kind
destroys
of
her life, but saves her life.
Saves her life.
So basically, Fight Club is a remake of Drop Dead Fred.
I just
We've learned
don't think
that.
it needs to
Correct.
be a 9%er.
All right, mine.
Well,
It's one we've discussed
taking
many
it home
times.
with 9%.
My next one is a 42%er, which it looks like a masterpiece in terms of the critics, but a movie that people are really mean about. But truthfully, I think is a brilliant satire. Again, weird sense of humor to it, and that's Death to Smoochy.
Oh, that's a
great
buy and should
movie.
be in the 90s.
That's a great
It's a
film.
dark and really interesting movie that someone I hope writes an essay like revisiting it because the whole issue of children's
cookies?
television,
The cookies.
the cookies.
Yeah, he's like giving out the cookies, but they're all like shaped like penises.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I
like,
forgot about
gingerbread penis
That's
cookies.
true. I forgot about that. Right when he tries to ruin
Yeah.
Smoochy. No, but also
Everybody's fantastic. The acting is fantastic.
Ed
the
Norton,
writing, Ed
Robin
Norton
Williams. It's
brilliant.
Fantastic.
so that's that one.
Are we on our last ones? This is my last one.
ones,
Okay,
last
so my
round.
last one now. While it does not have the lowest percent, I will say it will come as the biggest shocker. And Lily, you can bow down to me after I say it and you realize I've come up with the best one yet, is Empire Records.
Wow, what did that get?
29%. I'm pretty sure it
Why do
only-
we even follow Rotten Tomatoes? This is
Yeah.
a Shonda.
So this is an
This is
episode.
it. This is
Yeah,
where
the-
we're breaking
why,
this
why
down.
Rotten
This is
Tomatoes
ridic-
is a Shonda.
it's
That's what.
complete bullshit. Empire Records. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
That deserves almost as many as any John Hughes film. I'm not saying it's up there with a John Hughes.
It's pretty
but like if a
incredible.
John Hughes rounds the 90s, then it should get an 80.
I've rewatched it
has-
recently. It holds up.
And I would say your point about John Hughes, though, is really important because people remember John Hughes movies sometimes as if they were just comedies, but they all have an edge of darkness in them that Empire Records is a dark movie.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it really connects well to the John Hughes movies.
Pause. What's that loud breathing? Anyone else hear that?
I don't know, but I forgot my headphones.
That's fine.
I heard, like, a super
I think
loud
it's
breathing.
Lily's phone is actually cussing.
Oh, too close?
Yeah.
It definitely sounded like someone was
Sorry.
going like this.
All right. Back on.
Oh, that was it. Empire
should we
Records
do-
is my last
All
one.
right, Lily. No. We're just going. We're just rolling.
Oh. My last one, again, I feel like with if Dark Crystal can be considered a good 80s movie, why isn't Legend considered a better why is this not more
I
popular?
think the people who see Legend love Legend, and I really want to rewatch it.
Who are these people? Where are you? I don't know
I
anybody
actually
else.
went down a rabbit hole reading. This is one of Tom Cruise's earliest movies.
I think it's his
Ridley Scott directed
first
it.
movie?
Fantastic
Could it be
movie.
his first movie?
I don't know if it's his first movie.
Maybe it's
but,
his second movie.
But Ridley Scott directed it.
Oh, Outsiders might be his first movie.
Ridley Scott directed it, and it's filmed in this kind of crazy way. And Tim Curry, I think, plays the
Bad guy. He plays the demon devil guy.
But I've read that there are multiple, like all Ridley Scott movies, like Blade Runner. There's multiple cuts of this movie.
Cool.
And multiple versions with different soundtracks. So apparently there's like an American version that's more of a, I don't remember which one was, but I think an American version has sort of like a classic movie score kind of score, but then the international version has like this crazy synth score.
I feel like if there's any one person that can get me these versions, it's you, Shay.
Oh yeah, I'll get on it right away.
That's awesome.
We should watch the different versions. But I would really want to rewatch that movie with you guys because it's a cool, weird, creepy
That got
movie.
42. It's not like it's terrible, but I'm surprised that's not considered like a classic fantasy 80s movie.
So
I just don't think enough people have seen it.
I'll
It's not talked about
I'll
enough.
round this out with one that really needs no further discussion, and that is Breakin.
Oh, that's just...
Starring Shabadoo, who me and my family and mom and dad danced with at the All-Star Comic-Con last year, and Boogaloo Shrimp Michael Chambers, and
Kelly.
What was Kelly, the actress's name? Oh my God.
I feel like it is actually just Kelly.
No, it's not Kelly. No, we can't not remember her name right now.
I'm not sure
To me, she's always just
knew
Kelly.
Her name.
But continue. The movie.
Anyways, it's a classic. It's perfect. Lucinda Dickey, that's her name. And it's a classic. It's perfect. It's about dancers from different sides of the tracks who get to know each other and who bring their respective style of dance to the stuffy people. And I was recently watching the last scene from Flashdance, and actually, I think most of that movie is unwatchable. It's like super depressing, like life in the steel town. And the last scene is all right. I feel like Breakin' is an entire movie of the last scene of Flashdance. So if you romanticize Flashdance, go and watch the original Breakin'. And with that, we've come to the end of our segment. Do you have any... Well, I think we've just done a lot of recommendations.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any shout-outs that they would like to give?
To the
Yes.
guy who helped us get our movie.
Trevor
at the ranch. Thank you for helping us get our movie watching game on.
I would like to give a shout out to the pilot of my flight on the way here.
Okay.
We had this no, it's a good story. We went to go gate check our stroller, realized we didn't have a tag for it. I don't know how somehow when we were checking in we didn't get a tag for it.
Just leave your stroller. That's what I do.
And
If I find
and I
it,
said, I was like, well,
somewhere
can I
else.
just leave it? And the pilot's like, no, I'll go take care of it. And apparently they
The
wouldn't.
pilot? What was the pilot just hanging outside the
pilot-
airplane?
No, this was as
What
we were like
airline?
literally, it says Southwest as we're about to we're like crossing the threshold onto the plane. And the pilot's like, don't worry, I got it. I'll take care of it. And apparently the flight attendant told me this. the guys at the counter right there when
They're like, just let the pilot handle
they
it.
were like, no, sorry, we're not going to print a ticket for you. And he like went back down to check in to like the main.
So instead of
check-in,
flying
and
the
he,
plane,
did
this
it.
is why I don't fly Southwest. So
He
instead
took
of
care of
flying the plane
everything
and
for
getting
us.
people on time, the
No,
pilot was like,
while we
hold on,
were-
people.
While we
I'm
were
going to go
boarding,
negotiate.
while everyone was boarding, he went and he personally took care of this to make sure that our stroller would make it to its destination.
Hold on. If you listen in the distance, you can hear the dinner bell
the
ringing.
dinner bell ring.
No,
'cause
that's
we're on a
the,
real
it's the appetizer bell.
Oh, I was gonna say it's a dinner bell because we're on a real ranch, and Becky's like, no, that's the drinks and appetizers. So that's not a real ranch
That's
thing.
not a real ranch. And my
So
shout
Jews need snacks ranch.
that is a great.
However, the pilot was nice to me. I'm giving a shout out.
Sure.
Don't yuck my yum here, okay?
All right, and I'm going to give a shout out to a podcast that has been on hiatus for a while, but is back now. It is the Here's a Hypothetical podcast. And
That's a great one.
They are hilarious, but also they went on hiatus right after we had sent them our own hypothetical question, and they wrote to me and said that they will be doing our hypothetical. So I have not listened to their latest episode all the way through it. I just started it, but I'm going to listen through to it, and people should check it out. They're hilarious, and hopefully you'll hear the question from us. And with that, the music will... Oh, where can people follow you? Sorry. Becky?
Well, you can follow all of us,
Wait.
most importantly, on Instagram now. We have an Instagram account for a night movie.
I forgot an important shout out. I don't think I gave this the last time we podcasted.
I don't
Did I
know.
give a
That's why
shout
we
out
have
to the
notes
fact
and we
that
write things down.
I didn't check the old notes and I can't remember. Quickly. Did I talk about how Weekends was shortlisted for an Oscar?
No, you did not.
Okay,
So talk about it.
Weekends filmed, which I brought up a lot on this podcast. It was made by our friend Trevor Jimenez. It was shortlisted for an Oscar. What that
Maybe you
means?
did bring it up.
What that means is that it's one of the I think 10 films that's on the short list, and then from that 5 will be selected for the nomination. But it's a huge deal.
So
It's a massive honor, and we're really excited for Trevor.
Academy voters who listen to this.
Yes.
We know there's a few.
Vote
Maybe?
for
I don't know.
Weekends.
There's definitely a few.
There's definitely a few Academy voters. Weekends by Trevor Jimenez.
Definitely.
And with
Definitely.
And
We run with a very lowbrow crowd and a very highbrow crowd.
And Lil, you were just about to say about our new thing that people can
Yes,
follow.
we have a new Instagram account that we are promoting, especially since the 3 of us are together, which there's so much more material when we're together. So definitely follow us for lots of shenanigans and multiple posts of the same thing because we're all on the account, and sometimes we don't realize when one has posted something.
And live arguments. We've been showing live pre-show arguments. We've been showing live.
So you can bicker along with us
exactly.
in real time.
And maybe next ep, I'll tell the story of how me, Allie, and our mom got kind of lost in the desert this morning. So to be continued.
I was there with you, with my baby.
I didn't say you when I named people.
No.
I
just want.
to.
So when you guys hear me bickering about the fact that I'm always left out, this is
I
actual
just meant
proof.
like I was looking at
I
you.
wasn't even there though.
I was looking at you, so
So
I thought you got it.
I'm not the one. I wasn't participating and leaving
All
you
right,
out. Lily's
you
just
can
leaving out
follow
on your own.
me on Twitter at paperbkprincess. Tweet me about how horrible my siblings are. I will agree with you.
I am at Chichi K. Gomez on Twitter.
And I am at Pancake for Table on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow all of the Pancake shenanigans there. You can follow the podcast now on Instagram at FridayNightMoviePod.com. We also started a newsletter. We haven't sent out our first edition yet, but through that we're going to give fun stuff away. So go to the website, FridayNightMoviePod.com, and sign up. It's helpful to us. And rate and review us on iTunes and other places that you listen to podcasts. And with that, the music by What Does It Eat will kick in, and we shall sign off and follow the gentle ring of the appetizer bell for the appetizers. Now we're doing a horror. But we can grab the other Jews who are at the ranch and we can do a
Fill
minion.
it out. Fill it out.
Minion.
Oh my
throat
goodness.
hurts all of a sudden. Why do you have to sit the
Did Vlad get me
closest
sick?
try?
My throat hurts.
No, his throat never hurt. A good try.
This is